Hello guys, my name is Khan, and actually in this video I will give you an introduction about STATA. So first I will go to STATA. Whenever you open the STATA, you will get into this kind of window. So I will give you a brief overview what each window is telling us about. So I think before going into explaining these videos, I will first upload the data, which there are so many data sets that Stata provides so that users can play around with those data sets to get familiarized with Stata and can practice their skills over those data sets. So if you go to file, there are some example data sets here. So if you click them, you can also click on the Stata manual datasets, which comes up whenever you install Stata. It will provide you some datasets. So I will click on Stata 14 manual datasets. So once in the Stata 14 manual datasets, I will go into the base reference manuals, and if you go here, actually I like to use a dataset which is named as auto. So actually I'm interested in this dataset. Use. So if I close this window, now I have this dataset. So this dataset, in the command window, if you, in order to upload this dataset, because this is a very famous dataset in Stata, so you can just simply write sys use auto and you will get the same dataset, which I got it from file menu. So we have this dataset now. So now I will explain each window. So if you go towards the command window, this review window, so review window will show all the commands that you have run. So when I went into file menu and when I clicked into this auto.dta, so Stata have actually run a command in the backend, and the command was then shown to me here, and review tab also have keep only the command syntax in this section. And after that, if you guys remember that I told you guys that you can also upload the same dataset by writing simply as sys use auto. So I entered a command here, because actually this is the result window, and I entered the command here, and this command also appears here then. But if you want to rerun this command, you can simply enter again. So now you can see that because I have run this command 2 times in review tab, in review section, you can see that command 2 times. So it's a good window. Suppose if you have run several commands and you want to go back to some previous commands, so instead of writing your command again here, because you can just simply go to review section and can recall that command again. And now if I come towards the right side, so here you will see that there is a variable window here. So in the variable window, we have variable names, and then we also have their labels. So suppose, because in Stata you can't add spaces in the variable name, but you can add labels. So make means, so in label you can explain the label what actually that variable name is capturing. So variable name make is capturing make and model, price is price, mpg is actually mileage, and rep 78 is repair record 1978. I will repeat it again that in Stata, when you have to declare a variable, you can't add spaces in the variable name. So if you want, so therefore in order to explain the variable, you need to add, sometimes you need to add label. Adding a label is not essential, but it's always better, because maybe after 2 or 3 years when you come back to the data set, so you can easily understand the variables and what kind of data they are capturing. And now, before going to the properties, if I select randomly any variable in the variable window, then the property section will show us what is the kind of that variable, or what is the properties of this variable. So as you can see here in detail, the variable name is make, label is make and model, the type is str18 means string variable, and format also telling us that it's a string format, and here it's telling us this variable belongs to this auto DTA, and here it's also telling us that the data auto.dta, actually .dta is a stata data format, just like Excel. In Excel, when you save the file, the Excel save the file as XLS or XLSX in the newer version. In the same way, when you save data in Stata, it will be by default be saved as .dta. But in Stata, you can also export datasets in different other formats like XLS, CSV. And here it's showing us that in this dataset there are 12 variables, and the number of observations are 74, and how much memory it's taking, etc., and on which variable the dataset is sorted. So this dataset is sorted by the foreign variable. The foreign variable, as you can see, is the last variable. So this is a brief view about the windows that you see in Stata. Now I will take you guys towards different tabs that you can see here. So in data tab, you can have different options for sorting, actually mainly to manipulate data. So I'm not going to go into detail at this part, but I will, in my later videos, we will be using these tabs in more detail. Then you can go to graphics, you can draw two-way graphs, bar graphs. There is a huge list of graphs that you can draw through Stata. And then we have different statistics that you can do, a huge list of statistics that you can do, like summary table tests, linear models like linear regressions, ANOVA, and also like survival analysis, panel data, survey data analysis. These are the more common statistics that people use, but there is a huge list like time series, so which user can use, and it's really helpful in analyzing the data. So, and I will also like to add one thing about Stata, that Stata provides both for most of the things that you don't have to write commands. You can just go to different tabs, and then you can select different options, and then Stata will automatically generate a command here, and will execute that thing. But you can also, instead of going to each menu, you can also simply come here and write down the command. Because one thing also not to notice, that there are things that you can do through by clicking these options or by clicking these tabs, but there are so many other commands for which there is no drop down menus or menus like these. That for those you have to write down command. And another thing that I would like to say, that is very useful, especially for the beginners, to get themselves introduced to like help. So suppose you are going to draw a graph, suppose two-way graph, and but you don't know how to do it, so you can just write down help in the command window and write down help two-way. So STATA will directly take you to a help window where it will describe what the syntax is, what kind of options that syntax provide, and a very detailed detailed explanation of the command that you can use and how you can use, and also STATA also gives you examples, especially in the end of this thing. So here you can see that there are different examples they are giving in the help command window. So again, I will say that whenever you face, suppose if you are using any command and you're getting an error, so it's always recommended to write down help, then command name, and then STATA will take you towards the window where it will explain the command and how you have to use, what are the different options each command has. And now I will tell you guys a few more important things, like, so because as you're writing commands here, as you become more and more experienced in STATA, you will and it's always preferred to write in a separate script. So I will go back again. If you come here again, there is a new data file do file editor. Actually, do file is a script file where you can write down the script, you can write down commands. So whenever you have to do the analysis, you don't need to rewrite all the commands here in this command window. You can just open your do file and can just execute all the script in one go. So it will save your all the work on your do file. So this is a simple do file. You can, in the do file, if you have to write a command, you have to enter static, and then you suppose I have to write, this is Khan do file. So this is our starting do file. So I'm not going to write any command, or suppose if I like to write a command which is help two-way. So if I press Control All, and then in order to execute these three lines, I'll Control D. So you can see automatically STATA have taken me to this help window where it is telling us about the two-way graphs. So, and if you go back here, you can see that STATA executed this do file and then have told us that he have written down here the Khan do file, and then also wrote down help two-way. And after that, another important thing to do is, suppose, which is not recommended, there is a option which is the data editor in STATA. So if you press data editor, so now you can go into STATA editor and can edit things. Suppose if this is price and you thought this price is wrong and this price should be 4100, so you can just simply go and edit it. But as I said, that it's not recommended to go directly into STATA like this, because even if you want to do this, it's better to keep a record of this edit in your do file. So suppose when I have made an edit, the STATA said that he have replaced price is equal to 4100 in 1 means the line number 1. So suppose if you want to do this edit, so if you go to command window and go to page up, if you press page up, it will show you the last command that you have run. So the last command that the STATA have executed is replace price is equal to 401. So it's always better that, suppose if you copy this command, and because I'm using sysuse auto data, and then I will writing I wrote down sysUseAuto because I have to tell STATA that first load the sysUseAuto dataset and then replace price is equal to 4100 in line 1. Secondly, I will also, it's whenever you make a do file, it's better to write down clear. So what clear do is that it clear everything from here in these windows. So it will clear the data set, and once you clear, you then after that you can upload a new data set. Suppose now if I execute just this clear, Control All and then Control D, so you can see there is no data set here. So now I can upload a new data set, and if I press execute, then you can see that we have so we have new data set here, and it have done the same thing. It have replaced the price is equal to 4100 in line 1. Secondly, I have shown you guys that if you have to edit data, you can just simply here go into data editor and can do edits. Then there is an important tool which is browser. In order to just browse data, browser will not allow you to make any changes to the data, but you can simply go into the browser and can see how data looks like. So once we are in the browser, I will tell you guys one important thing here. As you can see that there are variables like in the red and in the blue. I will tell you what's the difference between red and blue. So actually in STATA there are three kind of variables. So one variable is numeric, then string, and then we have label integers which you can label. So I will tell you what does it mean. So suppose these data, so variables like price, MPG, rep 78, headroom, which are shown in black, are numeric variables. So the numeric variables can be integers, can be long, can be double. So, and all these numeric variables in STATA browser window will appear in black color, whereas the red ones are the strings which contains alphabets. And on strings, it's logical that you can't do any mathematical operation because they are in strings. But on the other hand, once you go to this foreign variable which is appearing in blue, an important thing to note here is that these foreign is actually a numeric but is labeled. So if you come here, I have selected this domestic, but here the value is 0. Actually we are labeling 0 as domestic, but on the back end we have the 0. And if you go down, if I select foreign, so the foreign is 1. Even if I select foreign here, another foreign over here, it will remain 1. So actually in foreign we have labeled it domestic and foreign. We have done this thing because sometimes we need to use variables like foreign in our regressions or in our different other commands which require this foreign to be in a numeric, not as a string. So that's why we keep it in a numeric, not as a string, and we have labeled them as domestic and foreign for our ease, because once you get into data, if it's written down as 0 or 1, it will be difficult for a new user to see that what does it mean by 0 and what it does mean by 1. again we have two kinds of variables in stata. One is string and other one is numeric. The numeric are further divided into integers, long, float. Probably we'll get into more details about these types in later videos. So as I've told you about the label, suppose this variable label as foreign, there is a command like tab. So tab means that tabulate or make a table of foreign. So once I will select this thing, tab foreign, and enter, it's showing me that okay, in the data set we have total of 74 observations, and out of those 74 observations, we have 52 domestic and 22 foreign. But if I run the same command, if I press page up and then I press comma, and after that NOL or label, so I'm saying that now tabulate this above table but without labels, as I've shown you guys that this foreign is having a label over them, so no label. So now I have the same table but without labels, and now it's saying 0, which is domestic, is 52 and 1 is 22. So so this is a very short overview about stata, how things looks like in stata, how you can use help command, and a bit short brief overview of help function and the do file. So, and thank you for watching the video.